Today I'm off to do a movie review of the crime comedy Caught Stealing, which is directed by Darren Aronofsky and stars Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz and Matt Smith. So let's get into the plot. When his punk rock neighbour asks him to take care of his cat for a few days, New York City bartender Hank Thompson suddenly finds himself caught in the middle of a motley crew of threatening gangsters who all want a piece of him. What starts as a simple favour quickly turns into a dangerous fight for survival, forcing Hank into a world of chaos, violence and dark humour, where nothing is ever as straightforward as it seems. Caught Stealing is based on a book, the first in the Hank Thompson trilogy by Charlie Huston, which he wrote back in 2004. And then he went on to write the screenplay for the movie we're about to watch. Now, Darren Aronofsky has directed 8 feature films previously, which include Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Black Swan, Noah and The Whale. Noah and The Whale being 2 separate titles, even though that just made it sound like they're part of the same thing. Excitement level, it's a little bit above mid-level, purely because of the plot for this film. It does actually sound quite interesting. Now, I'm not really familiar with Aronofsky's work, other than who he is and what he's made in the past, and the only films I've seen of his are The Wrestler, which I actually did like, and The Whale, which I really didn't like. So I've just scanned my ticket, I'm just about to go in and watch the movie, and this is only the second time I'm going to be seeing a members-only screening. The first one was only a couple of weeks ago, seeing The Materialists. So it's mad that I've been coming to the cinema this long, and it's taken me this long to get round to one of these members-only screenings. But as always, guys, if you do like the content, do press the like and subscribe button, and I'll let you know my thoughts after the movie. Okay, so the film is just finished, so I'm going to go over the highlights and then the hang-ups, starting with the highlights. I'm just going to say straight away, I had such a good time with this film. It's really, really good. Let's start with the performances. Austin Butler was very, very good. He was absolutely believable as the guy who, let's say, has taken some wrong turns in life, and he was a character that was out of his depth and he had to adapt to the situation. You felt like you were with him all the way as more and more things escalated out of his control. It's not really spoiling it to say at the very start of the film, he's a character that comes across as someone that likes to de-escalate situations, but in this, it just was all out of his hands, and you could have your hands on your head going, oh my God, this is, there were some real surprises in there. Very strong performance by him. I didn't realise I had actually seen him in some other movies. He played Elvis in the film Elvis, although I didn't really like that film. But what I did like him in was the Bike Riders. He was really good in that. It was nice to see him in another movie, and I think he did an absolutely fantastic job. So carrying on through the rest of the cast, Zoe Kravitz was very good in this. Matt Smith was very good in this. He was really, really funny. His lines, his comedy had me laughing so much. He wasn't in it as much as I thought he'd be, because the trailers kind of gave that kind of vibe, but he had a very shared role with the rest of the cast, and that helped serve the story. But yeah, brilliant. I love how his Britishness really stood out amongst the rest of the cast, the Americans, and some of the lines, honestly, as I'm thinking about them, I'm still laughing. That's how good that was. All the cast were exceptional, and they probably had about an equal time in the movie, but that served the story very well. A couple of surprises I didn't expect to be in this film was Lee Schreiber. I know him from, or rather the first time I saw him on screen was in Scream 2, and I know he's been in lots of films since then, but he played one of the Jewish gangsters. And the other Jewish gangster was played by, I can't honestly remember his name, and if I did remember, I'd probably have trouble pronouncing his surname, but he's been in loads of films like Jurassic World, Men in Black, loads of films. They were both very, very good. Regina King was also in this film. She played the copper, and great performance by her. I remember her from Enemy of the State. She played Will Smith's wife. But yeah, solid performance from her. It was quite a crowded cast, but every single one of them I absolutely loved. You spent just enough time with them to get to know who they are and what they were about. On to the pacing of this film, which I thought was very, very good. From the moment it started and the main plot kicked in, which it kicked in very, very early on, it did not let up. You felt like you were going on a journey with Austin Butler's character, and you go on right throughout the movie. I got a very the game Grand Theft Auto vibe off this, as not because you're going off stealing cars, but as you go about missions and you're meeting different gangsters and different parts of the city and following them a little bit as they go about their business as well. Yeah, I really got that vibe on it, and I really loved that aspect of the film. I really loved the setting to this movie. It really made you feel like you were in a 90s grimy New York, from its like dive bars, neon lights, and that feeling like you felt like danger was around every corner. The fights were great, very brutal, and very real. Rather than have like a slick action fight scene from, say, a John Wick film, by portraying it this way, it gave a very real feel, and I loved it. I thought the soundtrack was really good. It had that raw punk energy vibe that fit the film perfectly. I thought the tone in this movie was absolutely spot on. I knew it was a crime comedy going in, but I was a little worried how that comedy was going to be used, because I've seen some other films of recently that are like black comedies and things like that, and I felt they were just too overt, too in your face, too forced. But this, it just fitted just perfectly. I think there's something about when in the life of gangsters, I mean, our main character is caught up in the world of a gangster. He's like in way over his head, and as he meets these people, these gangsters, the way they talk, and it makes you laugh, it also adds to their character. It adds to they're very flippant. They've got a huge disregard for life, and you can tell that because they're not taking the situation seriously, even though the situation they're in is obviously very, very serious. There were so many moments in this film where I laughed my backside off. It was so funny. But also, I really felt the dread of it. This is what I'm talking about, the tone. They got it just right, because they made me laugh throughout the movie, but I also felt the urgency and the dread of the situation. And like I said, there were, for me, a few surprises along the way that I really did appreciate. Hang-ups. To be honest, I'm really going to struggle to think of anything bad I could say about this film. I'm sure if someone went through this film with a fine-tooth comb, I'm sure you can find a few problems. Some people might say some parts are predictable. For me, it wasn't. But honestly, this film was like 1 hour, 47 minutes or thereabouts. And that's actually quite a short film. But the film didn't overstay its welcome. Because you were going along that journey, it just kept you engaged throughout. I'm supposed to be talking about hang-ups, so I'm talking about positives. Final rating. Darren Aronofsky delivered an absolutely brilliant film, captured the era perfectly with a very wild and entertaining film from start to finish. The cast were all solid top to bottom, and I could easily watch this film again. I'm normally quite a hard sell for crime stories, but this just absolutely nailed it. The film kept me hooked right up until the very end. And as I've already just laid out, I couldn't even think of a bad word to say about the film. So I'm going to give Caught Stealing a full 5 stars. Have you seen Caught Stealing? If you have, let me know in the comments below. Did you enjoy this movie as much as I did, or did you not like it? If anyone on the fence about whether to watch this film, I recommend you see it. You'll have such a good time with it. If you did enjoy today's video and you found the review helpful, do give us a like and press the subscribe button. And you can also check out my other playlists, which include movie reviews, movie locations, movie attractions, and movie rankings, and loads more different content to come in the future. I want to thank you again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.